Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel, Seven Heaven. You know we're on Cloud 7 over here, the most blessed and highly favored channel on YouTube. We have a fun one for y'all today. Taylor Swift got booed at the Super Bowl. Most of y'all here with internet know who she is, even if you don't listen to her music. I remember that there's a video of like all these NBA players, and a lot of them can't name a single Taylor Swift song, but they know who she is, okay? So whether you're a Swiftie or whether you're one of those NBA players that doesn't know who she is, welcome. She's born on December 13th, 1989, and that's the year of the snake. Now, it's the year, it's the year of the... snake now. Sorry, y'all, I got a little notification. It's the year of the snake right now. And in the Chinese New Year, the year of the snake means a lot of things, you know. It's good for seduction. It's good for secrets coming out. And it's good for, like, pulling some sneaks and some sleuths. You know, it's good for this. I got this at the Dungeons & Dragons show. It's straight up good for sneaking and seducing, okay? Because some of us are better at that. Shout out to 20-Sided Tavern at Stage 42 in New York. But, yeah, y'all, it's a year of sneaking and seducing. And anytime in the Chinese New Year, your own year comes up, it's not good. It's more turbulent for the person. Now, of course, that's not a hard and fast rule, but we've already seen some big losses for Taylor in her own year. Now, yeah, she's born December 13th, 1989. Has very famously been dating Travis Kelce or Kelce. We don't know. Well, I don't know. For going on 2 years now. Now, this has been a highly publicized relationship, and it's almost been like a brand deal and a parasocial pairing between... Let me get my little water. Between the NFL and like the Taylor Swift brand. I'm pretty sure her Eras Tour came out on Disney or some platform that has the same ownership as ESPN. So there's interest in these things all around. That's not to say something's one thing or the other. And y'all, I'm just going to pull cards while I talk and we'll flip them over as we go. But, you know, we got to get our little journalistics in first. Now, on to her getting booed. I did cover this in a previous reading, not the boo part, but the fact that she would be going through some evolutionary changes in her career, a bit of a breakup with music, and like not winning as strong. I'll link that before. And there was a prediction that she'd be pivoting into acting as a part of her rebrand, which remains yet to be seen, but the seeds are planted. So that's that. But in terms of her getting booed, I mean, she is one of the most beloved people. Not by everybody, but by her fandom, okay? I mean, she's... And like, y'all don't take offense to this, but thinking about it, you know, she has this narrative to where she is kind of the victim ever since Kanye West... It was Single Ladies. I want to say that was 2008. And that was the Video Music Awards where Beyonce's iconic Single Ladies music video lost to Taylor Swift's You Belong With Me, which also was iconic in its own way. So, of course, Kanye interrupted her. I'm going to let you finish all this stuff. And there's a video of her in Miss Americana, her documentary, that... I don't know, I haven't seen it, but it just basically just talks about how she's like Little Miss America, I presume, from the title, and just knowing what her brand is. And the clip that I saw from this of her rewatching that moment at the VMAs was her saying, like, I thought everybody was booing me, and, you know, when you spend your whole life basically going after trophies, or I forget what she says, either going after trophies or trying to make other people happy or trying to get approval from people, basically, is the sum up of it. Then, like, that is a certain type of devastating. And I found that to be very interesting because when we come full circle to her being booed here, even though she's a 35-year-old woman now who's been famous since she was, or almost 35. She's born in 1989, it's 2020. Yeah, so she's 35. She'll be 36 this year in December. But yeah, even though she's a woman who's like closer to 40, obviously, than 20, she may not have some of those kind of coping skills. Because whenever she got booed, obviously, it's not even that she looked super bothered, but she definitely didn't look happy in this game. And it's a full circle thing because she's stepping into someone else's domain, which is football. And football fans, like, they want to see football. They care about athletes, and those are their celebrities in a way. And so, like, yeah, they'll cheer for other celebrities at the game, but you can't expect people to care about this girl whose music they may not even listen to when it's your domain and make it all about you. So I think this is a big symbol between the Grammys loss and not kind of getting that public love that she craves, that the tides, oh, they're turning, okay? They're turning. And I'm going to show you all the cards. I just wanted to give you context about this. And interesting too, the magician is here because she talks a lot about doing magic, black magic. And of course it's the blonde, like, Phoebe character. So interesting, very interesting. And also her relationship with the Kardashians. So after what happened with Kanye, there was another moment that happened, I think in 2020 or during the pandemic, where Taylor Kanye called her up and said, I'm gonna use this, like, lyric about, oh, Taylor Swift, I made that bitch famous. And then she approved of it. And then after the song came out, she said it was misogynistic and that she never approved it. Now, there's hearsay on both sides because some on the Kanye and Kim camp, they claim that they called her first and Kim released a video showing them have that conversation with her. But Taylor claims that what he said he was going to say lyrically in the song is not what was actually said when it came out, which I find very interesting. But I bring up the Kardashians again specifically because they had that beef with her and because they're both huge magic practitioners. The Kardashians are pretty somewhat open about, like, the magic rituals that they practice. Taylor Swift also has a lot of allusions to witchcraft in her work. And I don't know. I predicted in another video that she may be like going on Kim Kardashian's show. I don't know why that stood out to me. There was energy of a lawyer. But yeah, we'll go over more notes, y'all. I just kind of wanted to get through this, but I don't want to say that Kim's doing magic against her, but there was some kind of manifestation to where Kim, I don't even want to talk about it too much in this video because I think it deserves its own video, but she talks about, like, manifesting the death of somebody that was annoying her, basically. So I think part of the magic coming from this is Kim and other people. We also have Blake Lively. Like, I don't know that all these people practice magic. I think a lot of celebrities do to some point, from basic manifesting all the way up through rituals and stuff. But I will say her downfall is partially because of someone wishing her unwell. Now, we have as above, so below, of course. So that's an important thing to remember too, because as a magic and universal principle, things have to correct themselves. And she's been going unpunished for a long time. And I'm not saying, y'all, that she deserves to be punished, but I'm just saying that the environmental sins of taking the jet everywhere and the idea of, I mean, she's lied about quite a lot of things. Growing up on the Christmas tree farm, being self-taught a guitar, which, like, it was really just a nice property. See, y'all? It was just a nice property that she grew up on with Christmas trees. But there's that disappointment that sticks. You see? And in the Thoth tarot deck, it's a different deck. Do I have it by me? No, in a different deck, the Four of Cups has, like, words to describe, and that deck's actually by Aleister Crowley, but the words that describe it, I think that one is, like, decadence or something like that. And I think why that sticks out to me is because 4 and 5 of Cups are both disappointment cards. But the reason why the 4 of Cups is its own kind of disappointment is because this person is being offered a cup of something, but they can't take it. And I think, like, she is someone who's so used to having it all, getting her way, and not necessarily needing to be grateful for the little things, that's what's grinding her gears. Like, you can offer her a cup of something, but she's already got 3 of these cups here. So whether that's a genuine loving relationship or just like adoration from people. It's like she doesn't care because that's her baseline, to be adored from everybody, which was already from like someone who's a tall, white, beautiful, thin, rich woman. I'm sure a lot of them, even though we all have to deal with our shit, we all deal, honey, those women are dealing with sexual harassment up the wazoo, people picking your body apart, all this stuff. But even just your regular hot, rich, white, blonde lady is dealing with problems, and I mean, is probably not as used to not being in favor with people because you have pretty privilege and other privileges, But yeah, I mean, there's been some lying about her writing her songs. I'm just reading my notes, y'all. Some people think that in the video she was lying about thinking people booed her. She kind of spins the narrative on how certain relationships ended. She has been caught keeping other people down in the charts by using the magic of variance, okay? So that's its whole own thing, but she's also sold shoddy merch. She's sitting on her pile of cash while she sells kind of like shoddy merchandise. And yeah, like this 4 of Pentacles, stingy. There's a stinginess in terms of like, she even sold tickets where you cannot see, like at the back of the Eras Tour stadiums where you couldn't see the concert, but you could just hear it. But she sold them for full price. Whether that's her or scalpers, I don't know. But, there's always selling stories to the press. And, there's been numerous people. From Scooter Braun, who owned her masters. That was another lie because people know that Scott Swift, he knew the deal that they were cutting, essentially. It was a deal between both of them. He didn't just, like, scam them. That was the deal to kind of get her signed and get her big, was for him to own the masters. And so there's like a lot of controlling of the narrative, Scooter Braun, and that's why like this 4 of Pentacles here, the stinginess, like she's having to be bummed out for her own stinginess, and the universe like takes and gives an equal amount. And even though she's been through a lot, it's been quite good to her, but there's still that like that ingratitude and that stinginess are kind of coming back to bite, while also other bad actors, I guess I could call them, are not really like feeling her fully. And so I don't know, bad actors, just people who don't want her to thrive, people casting those spells and things like that, that can work on a person who's in a more vulnerable position. Not to say she's in a vulnerable position, but when there's space between you and the creation energy. I don't mean being creative, but like there's light versus dark, and if she's practicing more snake-like magic, we'll leave it vague like that, then it makes it easy for spells to come get her than it were if she didn't already step into that realm. But so Scooter Braun, the guy with the masters, and I mean, I'm not fighting for him. I'm not saying he's a good person. That's a whole different topic for a different day. But Scooter Braun, his family was being threatened, and she refused to call off her fans. That's another wild thing about the fans, is that they don't like, first of all, they spend a lot of money. They spend a lot of money. And so, like, there's always someone coming in on the horse ready to save her financially. But now she's realizing, like, there's certain problems that money doesn't solve. And so her fans, even though they drop a lot of coin on stuff, they've been, like, straight up attacking people. They've attacked a lot of people. But she lied. The Scooter Braun thing was a lie, but she didn't call off the fans who were giving death threats to Scooter Braun's family. She didn't call off people who were being racist towards Beyonce, really just for, like, their similar positions on the charts, but also just, like, particularly with this Grammy win. Death threats to Maddie Healy, who's, I think, the singer of the 1975. They had a fling briefly, and he doesn't really think of it as anything beyond that, but she's written nearly a whole album about it, which, like, okay, fuckboy's gonna be fuckboys, and he has, like, apparently a Nazi ideology, so we don't like that, but, yeah, I mean, she didn't call off fans calling him out, which some people don't think is a big deal, but you even have people like Calvin Harris, her long-term boyfriend, Joe Alwyn, who's an actor and a Brit. He's basically the anti-Travis. Yeah, and people were threatening him, leaving mean comments on him and his family's pages about Taylor. And she never calls off the hounds. Even Selena Gomez called off the people talking mad shit to Hailey. But yeah, it's like this whole big mess because she doesn't call them off. Now, because we have this star, we also have the falling star. I think that's like, you know, like, she is used to being the star. For somebody like that, there's no other path. And now we have Sabrina Carpenter and Chappell Roan and Olivia Rodrigo, who Taylor sued and weirdly at the Grammys, like, didn't talk to Olivia Rodrigo, but talked to her boyfriend in true Year of the Snake fashion. But I think the disappointment here is because her star is falling. And, like, she is very used to being the star, but she's not, like, some self-made star like they made her out to be. She's the star who someone's always riding in on the horse, kind of with some financial fix, with money to make it better. From the very beginning, her parents have financially backed her, pushed her to be what she was gonna be. And that's not to say that there's credit for all of that, but, you know, she's just used to being the one dazzling. And now, I mean, she won her 13th Grammy last year at the 2024 Grammys. And so I really just don't think that she knows how to function when she's not the center of attention. You know, y'all see this? Like, there's the financial stinginess, the emotional stinginess. So I'm really just hearing that there's, like, a shallowness, you know? Like, even though there's all this beauty in her life, there's a lot of emptiness, too. Yeah. And this, okay, so Seven of Pentacles is weight. And that is the acting card. But Seven of Pentacles is, like, waiting for your stuff to bloom. And I think that's, again, like, she's kind of permanently in that, almost like she's a farmer. Like, she only knows how to plant seeds and come collect awards. But she doesn't necessarily, she hasn't had to make those flowers bloom herself. So the fact that, like, and again, y'all, like, her parents controlled a lot of her image. That Tree Payne, her publicist, who works harder almost than Kris Jenner probably. You know, you have her, you have all these sort of players who are always making sure that she doesn't have to wait, that her image looks a certain way. So now, like, here she is kind of waiting on that new opportunity because she's used to just, like, having what she wants in that instant. And to go, again, y'all, like, she wasn't expecting to go from this worldwide stardom of, like, Eras Tour where everyone's shouting your name to where you're literally getting booed. Because that means, like, she has to wait for another opportunity to be back on top. You know, and, like, that's not something that comes easy. But yeah, I mean, her parents are, like, quite the ball busters too. Even when she was born, like there was a and oh, her birth certificate, or like her birth announcement rather, had like Taylor Allison Swift, 1 share of stock, like co-owned between her and the dad and the mom, and like the merger's complete. So it's always that idea of like she was gifted to us as something that's meant to make us money. That's not to say that they don't love her, but there was also an anecdote from the man who taught her how to play guitar, because they were liking to assert that she was self-taught. But there's an anecdote from him about how he heard the mom say like, oh, and when she's like 15 years old, she can't have Taco Bell because nobody likes a fat pop star, which is like, I mean, that sucks. And also, if there's a time when you can have Taco Bell with minimal consequences, it's when you're 15, you know? But I mean, I don't blame anyone for not giving their kid fast food. I just think it's interesting that she went through a whole eating disorder as well. What else do we have for this? Where are we going with this? Let's take these 3. Yep. So the wounded warrior, you know, and that's a beating for somebody who hasn't had to use the regular coping mechanisms of life. That is a bit of a beating to get booed by people and to not win a single award, when I think last year she won several, and she's won 13 so far, to people like Lana Del Rey, who Lana's changed the music industry in terms of like kind of darker pop in her own way, and she hasn't gotten one despite multiple nominations. We also have this. I think whether it's just like addictions, bad habits, bad relationships, not even necessarily the romantic ones, I think there's people who don't have her best interest at heart. And I think that, you know, there's people clinging onto her star, and that's just gonna bring her down. I think we might, a return to passion would be better, but a downfall is more likely. Because, like, even this guy that's quite literally a potato, like, I feel like people, even some of the super fans, are seeing through the image that's been built. So she's gonna be forced to use that authenticity. Like, she can't just play Stargirl anymore. She's gonna have to figure out, like, who she is and what she wants. Because there's this feeling thus far that she has not. What else do we have? What do we see coming up in her career? What's next? What's immediately next? Just even in career and life, just in this energy in general. I think it's interesting we've gotten so many Phoebe cards, though, with that blonde. Because it just looks like her. Yeah, I mean, even though a break is needed, I see another Phoebe card. And of course, like, Taylor is, because of being born December 15th, she is, or December 13th, she's a Sagittarius in tropical, but a sidereal Scorpio. And the Chariot here, that's a Cancer card. And you know what, y'all? And same thing with, like, these two. That's that Sag fire. I think, though, even though the best thing she could do is take a break, I really think she's gonna push it. I really think she's gonna push it and go really fast. Like, we're gonna see an attempt to cover this up in some way. A big career, like a big announcement, something rushed, or like we even have to watch out traffic-wise, because I'm hearing there could be like even some kind of accident, but there's just rushing. There's just rushing to do something. And I think that next thing that she's going to do is gonna be in poor enough taste that she'll take a break. Like there's gonna be one more nail in the coffin of like, okay, this is what she's gonna do, whether that's like just something that even her fans think looks really desperate, and it's gonna happen fast. It's gonna come out of nowhere. Yeah, it's gonna happen pretty fast. Yeah, whether it's like some kind of cheating, some acceptance of like maybe Travis's popularity, which they're definitely in two different worlds, but I think his popularity growing, and I don't know if it really will, because people, I mean, after losing one Super Bowl, they could come back next year or whatever, but I think it's just like maybe more of a need for his independence, and like that juggling that image is going to make a desperate decision that's going to lead to a new start. But that's going to be like, it's very rushed. I don't know why I'm hearing rush, and like how they say haste makes waste. Like, and there's a lot of major arcana here too. So the tides are turning, but there's going to be something that forces her to redo her whole image. And like, I don't know if she'll be rushing to put out music that people, even her fans, aren't going to like, or just like, just rushing to reclaim what she had, though, because more than anything, she wants her star back, okay? And that's like, I'm hearing that in like a very desperate way. More than anything, she wants her star back. Let's take an oracle card. But, I mean, this is an interesting one, y'all, because I'm thinking, like, she's run into a problem that money can't fix. And the desperation to kind of get her star back, the star power back, is gonna be pretty intense. And I think so too, y'all, because like, I'm not just gonna call her an industry plant, even though that's possible with literally anybody, but I think it's interesting, like, the music industry goes through acts like water, like and I think her staying power is interesting because we think of people like Courtney Love, bands like Bikini Kill, like the Riot Girl era, even people like Amy Winehouse and Adele, who were a bit of a revolt and true talents, but they were revolting against something clearly. But then you have Taylor Swift, who like makes the safest form of revolt for a lot of most of her fans are women, so it's like what do you call that? Like neutralizing the threat, the natural threat that is women, because she's kind of flattening them out. And I find it interesting because it affects the behavior. People are spending tons of money on the Eras tour for this like very safe form of feminism. I know that's the bad F word people don't like. Doesn't matter really if you're a feminist or not. That's a different topic for a different day. But I find it funny that people consider it feminism because it's basically just like find your prince, have babies, do whatever, you know, and so it's very safe. What do we have next? What do we have next for this? Not to say there's anything wrong with that, but you know, if I was afraid of those feminist powers, I would not be that afraid of Taylor Swift brand feminism, because it doesn't pose that big of a threat to really anything that feminism more traditionally does. See, y'all, be real. She's gonna run into this issue of like, you just gotta be real. Like, she's run out of playing the star role. And I think she's hungry for it too, but like the star role's not working anymore. So she's just gonna have to be real. And I don't think she's ever had to do that. Probably very much wants to do that, but it's gonna come up quick. Something's gonna come up very quick. And we have that devil for the year of the snake, but it's become unavoidable that she's gonna have to be real. Let's take an art oracle and close this out. Thanks for y'all watching if you're still here. Interesting, because I heard car accident and Frida Kahlo was in one. I really hope this doesn't happen to her, but I'm hearing that. I'm hearing some kind of like automobile accident or something crazy, and I would never wish that on anybody. But Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to me too because Frida Kahlo started painting because she was in this awful accident, and then that put her on track to where she's supposed to be. So as much as many people just think Taylor Swift was made to be making music, and many would also disagree, doesn't matter either way really, but yeah, she's gonna have to externalize her internal world. So on this card, and this is the art oracle, but I think it's interesting, Frida came out, who's the most real of the real when it comes to female artists, and she represents a kind of feminism that, I mean, pardon me, but Swifties could never. You know, it's the convalescence lasts a lifetime. You don't spell painting without pain. Art is your most loyal companion. Externalize your internal world. So she's gonna have to start maturing and taking accountability for things that she hasn't before. And by desperately trying to pull herself back into like the starhood, it's gonna shoot her in the foot a little bit. It's gonna shoot her in the foot a little bit. And yeah. She's gonna go to a point where she can't go anymore and grow up and be forced to be real or like get to step in, because that's another thing with like Sabrina Carpenter, Chaperone, Olivia Rodrigo. Like there's a realness and a rawness to them. Pop stars are always going to be a little manufactured, but I think that it's going to smack her in the face that like she has to be real. And then a lot of people are going to say, oh, you know, her journal, like her art is like her journal, and like she's already very real. But that's not necessarily real. That's just someone who, they may be real emotions, but it's not taking full accountability for the role she has in these relationships, because a lot of it's very snarky. And again, like there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but it's not really mature. And there's a certain cohort of people that don't want to shovel the blame onto someone else. And I think it was Coldplay, like they released a song. I think they outsold the Eras Tour too. Not even that it's about numbers, but I think it's interesting because there was a song that the lead singer wrote about, I think he used to be with Gwyneth Paltrow. And there was even just like a lot of beauty in the way that he talked about it. But with Taylor, we see, beep, beep, we see a lot of her exes get slandered. And so I think like the be real thing is like just, you know, we have to take accountability for the fact that losing is a part of life. And so because her only coping mechanism for not liking the feeling of losing has been to, I'm always gonna win. But not only do the wins start to feel empty because they're a requirement instead of a bonus, but yeah, it's like she's been pushing down all the energy of possible failure with magic and with other things, but they're gonna come to collect that debt. The universe is gonna come collect that debt. So y'all let me know if you want to do another one here, but the takeaway really is just like a new start's gonna come after a desperate attempt that people don't think looks good of her trying to get her stardom back. And above all, after a lifetime of kind of pretending to be exactly what people want for everyone's sake, she's gonna have to finally just be real and externalize her inner world, maybe experience it for the first time. Anyway, I love y'all. Thanks for watching.